Go. Celebrate a new year? Why? I never got it, even as a kid. I mean, it was always nice, New Year's, especially when you're small, you get to stay up till midnight, and all the parents and all the adults are getting a little fun, and you get to sneak in that little champagne, which I hated. Oh. But I never quite understood the reason why we had to celebrate just this one day. And especially for this philosophy where we talk about that we demonstrate through our own thoughts every single day. It's just a location, a point in space in relation to the sun. That's all a New Year's is it's a particular day on a solstice on how the sun rises and falls in the skies from the ancient times that they decided this is the day that the race will start again. What race are we talking about, people? It's our lives. It's my life. It's your life. It's not really a race. There's no finish line, especially with this philosophy when we believe and know the continuity of all life. Yes, I may jump from one automobile, this body, this automobile, this 66 model, and I might jump into something else. I have no clue what that form of transportation is going to be, but the consciousness, the driver, my thoughts are always going to be intact. And that's one thing that we do talk about here and we do believe in, the continuity of all life. So we don't have to wait to just today or tomorrow, depends upon whether you're a procrastinator, to think I'm going to change my life. I already said that. Oh, I must have hit the backspace. You know what? Enjoy the ride with me because I have no clue where I'm going. I like the idea of a resolution, but I have to ask myself, am I up to being resolute? That's a Williamism. I didn't get that out of a book. That just popped into my head on one of the many millions of thoughts that I have a day because it's been proven that we have millions of thoughts. Oh, wait a minute, that's guys thinking about something else. But it's true. When we make our mind to be resolute about what we want to create in this life, it doesn't have to wait to this day or this particular point in space in relationship to the sun. Every single day is a new year. Would you agree? Because it's only now. Now is when things happen. Yes, we can plan for the future and have an idea of the roadmap that we want to have for our lives. But what's going to be happening in summer has nothing to do with what I need to have done today. God cannot give us what we need until we first remove the obstructions in our mind. That's Ernest Holmes. And maybe that's what this is about, New Year's. But again, I want to encourage each and every one of you that don't wait till December 31st to make a resolution. Every single day, each of us have the opportunity to change our lives. We don't have to wait. Do it now. There's so much that I do around here, as you can see, that I thought I was just going to do the talk today. And that was going to be it, but the universe had other plans. But I don't look at them as life getting in my way. I have fun with it. I look at it as spirit having fun with me. And I can only talk about myself at this point because the one thing that we do know here and we do talk about here is spirit can only do through us by acting through us. So that must mean even though I'm not thinking about creating this whirlwind of doing the sound, doing the lights, and doing the talk and that sort of stuff, somehow deep buried inside of me, I'm up to the challenge. And maybe that's my calling, that Spirit likes to have fun with me and plays pranks on me and throws these obstacles on my path because I know I'm up to the challenge. I'm sure many of you sometimes feel that you're not. But I'm here to tell you that you are nothing less than the totality of Spirit, the whole divine universe. It's up to you to believe in yourself. And that's what we do here at this center, is we give you the tools and the love and the compassion to know and tell you that, yes, you are good enough. You are up to the challenge. In fact, you're more than up to the challenge. Because the challenges that you put forth upon you are based upon a relative existence, that lower vibration of being a human. But we talk and preach and teach about that higher elevation of consciousness that we all have. And it's from that standpoint I want to talk to you about, that each and every one of you, like me, are up to the challenge. We have given out these papers. When you're coming in, Dr. Elizabeth, no, I'm just having fun. Elizabeth handed out a piece of paper and possibly a pencil. And the idea, and this is a tradition that I believe that Dr. Joe started, it's flash paper. And the idea is for this new year, that resolution of what you want to be resolute about, we would like for you to write it on that paper. Let me add this, though. I would like for you to write it from a context of getting rid of something. Saying, I want to get rid of X, Y, and Z. The idea is, with this philosophy, you bring in the new and the old automatically leaves. So I would encourage you to write on that piece of paper what it is you are expecting to experience this year. If you're having challenges with your health, write down expectancy of health, of activity. And by putting that down on a piece of paper, by making, right here, we have been given these papers, physical idea of our expectation, writing it down. First there was the word. Writing down these thoughts, putting it on the paper, you have actually manifested to a certain degree of what it is you've been mentally thinking about. By creating that manifestation, it gives us more power that when we let it go and put it into the fire, because when you leave, there'll be a couple of little fire pits outside, and quickly and delicately let it go into fire, because it will flash in front of you like magic. But by putting it down on paper, that's giving your subconscious the idea that you have made it affirm, that you've put it down. And now you can release it and know that it's going to happen for you. You don't need to do that right now, but through this talk and Dr. Dale's talk, if something comes to your mind, put it down. And by doing so, this new year begins for you. Life is exciting, so live it and be not afraid. I wasn't planning on having to do all these hats today. I feel like the Mad Hatter today. But again, I'm up to it and I love it. I love the challenge. It keeps me thin. Who needs to work out when you work at a church? Ooh, I could start a new thing there. Okay, I'll have to think about that one. But live in the excitement of the unknown. I know there are a lot of people, and I have some friends that are like that need to plan. They've already planned. They've got on their wall the whole 365 days each week, and they've got Post-it notes on every single day of what they're going to be doing that day. Hell, I don't know what I'm going to be doing 10 minutes from now. But the point is, are you ready for the challenge? Are you up to it? And I have to tell you, if you don't believe that you are, I want you to borrow my faith and my knowing for each and every one of you that you do have the capability of going beyond, over the fence that you've created, over the boundaries that you've created in your own life, that you are far more than what you have created to this point. Now, each and every one of us has our own path. What excites me? Sure as heck doesn't excite my wife, especially tomorrow, because I'm going off-roading tomorrow, and I don't think she's going to want to come with me. But I'm excited about stuff like that because I like the challenge. While other people that I know love to sit in a room and paint, and that's their creativity. Whatever inspires you to get your blood flowing, do it. You don't have to wait to December 31st to write it on a piece of paper or to make that, I'm going to change. Change your expectations and you'll change your life. That's an easy sentence, but darn, isn't it hard to do? I'm still having a hard time doing it. Change my expectations. There's some expectations that I have. They are so darn hard to get rid of. But yet I trudge through them. And the funny thing about trudging through it, I see how powerful I am. Have you ever done that? Overcome an obstacle that you thought you couldn't do, and then once you've completed it, you look back and you go, wow, I did that. Live your life like that. Live your life from that standpoint that you have the capability of accomplishing things far grander than you can really think of. Because when you live life from the standpoint of, this is what I need to do, take my first step, and I'll worry about the others later. Take my next step, I'll worry about this, and I'll worry about the others later. When you do that, you'll find that you've created a journey. Something to be proud of, something to be amazed by. And something that you could use as an example to your other fellow humans. One of the things that this philosophy has brought to me and made me more aware of is people around me. Yes, I saw people. And I saw when they were going through difficulties or having a hard time, but I would just sit back and watch like a hockey game up in row Z, not really doing anything about it. But now with this philosophy, I share my story. Because even though your story may not be the same to somebody else's story, there's continuity and similarities and examples that you could be giving to another person to help them over their obstacles. So life is a buffet. Have you ever heard that term? Life is a buffet. Everything on your plate doesn't have to be scraped off, because every single time, the only thing I really hear about is how, I'm going to go on a diet come the first of the year. In fact, I'm one of those people. I think I'm going to be doing a diet. But then I started thinking about it yesterday, going, why wait till tomorrow? Why not do it today? And my boss says, well, because in that way it gives you a chance to eat up and what you can't be eating tomorrow. And I'm like, well, I kind of like that idea. But it still doesn't change that I shouldn't be putting off something tomorrow that I can actually be doing today. Live life to the fullest. Yes, this is a new year, but it has no relevance on the totality of each and every one of our lives. When you want to make that change, you will make that change. you don't have to wait till December 31st to do it. Every day is a new year, so buckle up, Buttercup. Thank you. Now back in my cubby hole.
I don't have my transitional slide. Oh, man. William, can you get me, whatever, just my first slide's fine. Just whatever slide followed yours. That's fine, that's fine. Anyway, so good morning and Happy New Year to all of you. That was wonderful, Reverend William. Thanks for the setup. So I'm not somebody who really likes to make assumptions or make generalizations about people, but today I have to. I feel that I'm correct. So, you know those people in our lives who like to tell the same story over and over and over and over and over and over again? Whenever you see them, you're like, oh God, they're gonna go down that road again about how victimized they are or about woe is me, this and that, and you wanna run the other way, but you're a kind person, so you listen. How many people have somebody they've met at some point in their life that has been like that to them? Yes, me too, quite a few. Being a practitioner who counsels people, I hear that, I get that a lot because that's the nature of my work, is to hear the story. Because the story has a lot of things that are indicative of what's going on inside of somebody. And so when I was thinking today about the people who have crossed my path and I've really not wanted to hear their stories because they can't get out of them and they get stuck in them, I had to take a moment and say to myself, if you spot it, you got it. Because we all have a storyteller inside of us. All of us are storytellers. It's the nature of who we are as human beings. We love to tell stories. And we like to tell stories because, I'm not working, Rev. I'm going to need you. Here's another, okay. So we like to tell stories because they teach us something about ourselves.
Need me for this too. It seems like live streaming and that belt pack isn't working, so here we go.
Okay, so I'll just...
No, you're good. I was just in some other mode, so you're good.
Okay, do I need this right now or something, or?
Yes, you do, because live streaming isn't working on the...
I'm sorry, live streams. Oh, you missed so much good stuff I said. I'm sorry. Ah, darn it. Can I say? Anyways, so man is a storyteller. Women are storytellers. As human beings, we love to tell the stories because they do teach us something about ourselves. And look at our world. We are engrossed in stories. We love to go to the movies, right? We love to read books. We love to go to plays because there's a story. There's something for us to learn. And a story has certainty, right? There's a beginning, there's a middle, and an end. We love order, and the story gives that to us. And also, it gives us a certainty where we're going to have this full circle of something. And that makes us feel really safe and really good. And so in our own lives, we like to tell stories because it gives us a certainty of where we are in our lives, even if the story is not a good story. It doesn't matter. We're used to it. We love our patterns. We love to just stay stuck in them, keep them going no matter what. Kind of a mindless thing. And that's what... will you do my next slide, please? Oh, I can do it, never mind. So the not so good thing about stories is we can get really stuck in them because it starts defining who we are. I am my story. This is my history. And as Ron would say, I am sticking to it. Ron Williams over here, who is a wonderful member of our center, he's in my sacred circle. And we just share whatever's going on in life. And I copy Ron because I don't know why. But whenever he finishes his story, he says, that's my story and I'm sticking to it. And I do that too. It's just a nice way to end it, right? But when I was sitting in my chair and thinking about that comment, that sentence, that's my story and I'm sticking to it. That's not a good thing. I shouldn't be sticking to my story. Why do I want to lock myself into a story about myself? That's so confining. And so I say here, the story is not so good because we over-identify with it. And it prevents us from growing. And it blocks us, most importantly, from bringing in a new possibility into our lives. That's where the stickiness of the story needs to move forward. And here's the cool thing that I love about New Year's. It is a time to take a review of the stories that we've been telling ourselves all year long that are not improving our lives, that are keeping us stuck, that are keeping us in a place of less than, I'm not enough, that can never happen, I'm too old, I'm too young, I'm too fill in the blank. We've got to burn the stories. And Dr. Laura's the one that brought this talk title. This is what she was going to talk about, is burn your stories. And when she came up with the title, I absolutely loved it, because I'm all about setting fire to things that don't serve us. I'm not a pyromaniac, but I like the symbolism. I love the symbolism of burning that which no longer serves us. There's a finality to it. There's it's done and not coming back to it. And there's even a holiness to it, because there's this idea of the divine fire within, that fire that burns brightly, that fire that if there is something there that is not in alignment with that love, with that joy, with that peace, with that vibrancy, with that aliveness, with that infinite possibilities, something that's not in alignment with that burns up. And so today's a day for us to burn the stories. To burn the stories. I know Reverend William, and I was kind of cringing, I'm going to just be honest, when Reverend William was talking about writing what you want to see in 2024 onto your flash paper that you have, I thought, that's Reverend William looking at this ritual in a different way. I'm going to give you another option. You can do it that way. But if you'd like to burn your story, that's what you write. Well, not your story, not your whole story. You only got a little piece of paper. But that's what you burn on there. What are you ready to release? I know for me, I've still got some feeling less than that needs to go. I need to stand in my strength and my authentic expression of life. Anybody else there with me on that? Right? Let it out. We've got lots of stories, not only for ourselves, but in this collective. And I've been really tuned into these stories about women. The stories that have come down through the ages that women can't achieve what men can achieve, or we're less than, or we're not quite at the same level. And I found myself becoming aware of that. I was like, oh my God, what am I telling myself? And I realized, if I'm going to stand on this stage, that story has to go, because I've got to let this full power out. It may be a different expression as Dr. Joe or Reverend William, but clearly there is something powerful that comes through me as spirit. And so I say yes. I say yes. And that's for all of us. We're all in this expansion and evolution. We've all been conditioned with certain ways of being in this life so that we can get along, so that we can survive, so we don't rock the boat. And I really believe it's time for us to see where that is constricting us so much that we are suffocating ourselves. It's time to burn that story. And it's time for us to burn some of these world stories too. I am really tired of this. I know I've talked about this before. This idea that war creates solutions. I'm really. I know there was a time in our past where war was necessary. Perhaps World War II might be an example of that. But right now, I'm thinking we're done with the way that we bring war to the world to create solutions. And I want all of us to burn that story. Burn the story. We don't need it. A new story is peace is the ultimate resolution, and we can do that. With quantum physics, which is, it's really kind of a hot topic. It's been a hot topic in New Thought centers because we're bridging the two ideas of religion and spirituality. No, science and spirituality. There we go. Because science carries a certain weight, right? It's more believable to some people. And quantum physics is opening people's eyes to say, wait a minute, there is a total connection between spirit and science. And something that we're showing is this interconnectivity. And we're showing that there is a power in thought, in group intention. There have been so many experiences or experiments that have shown that people meditating in a certain city at a certain time with a certain regularity, they have decreased the crimes that were committed. They show that there was a total decrease in crime because these people were meditating in this certain regular pattern. And to me, that is huge. Because look what we could do as a world. If we came together with intention, meditating or concentrating on something, then yeah, peace can be what we do rather than war. And so good time for us to examine the world beliefs that we've taken on, the world stories that we've said, yeah, let's keep them going, and burn them. Burn them up. You're not your story. You know, I want to tell you, I want to be honest. I stand up here and I say stuff because I'm right there in it with you. I know I'm not my story, but sometimes, more often than not, I think I forget. When I was really teeny tiny, like 6 months old, my story was, I am the center of the universe and everybody loves me. That was my story. That was a great story. But it ended one day when somebody told me, no, you're not the center of the universe, because I tried to do something that was out of alignment with my mom's desires, and I was taken down, and I was no longer at the center. But I've had other stories. You know, I've told myself stories about, not being enough, not being able to have my dreams manifest. And I learned in this room, burn that story. Burn that story. And I burned it. And now I have an amazing life. I have an amazing life. I have great people in it because I burned the story. And I'm going to tell you this, once you burn that story, it is not coming back. It is not coming back. Deepak Chopra says this, beyond the mind, at the deepest level of consciousness, resides the spirit. This is the part of us that is eternal, unchanging, and imbued with pure, unlimited potential. Tapping into this potential is what enables us to manifest miracles. See, something that I experience with all of you is that we're in these stories and it seems impossible to change it, or it seems impossible for a new story to come in. And I know there are a lot of you out there that had some really tough stuff happen to you this year, whether someone's become incapacitated or someone has left the planet. And it's hard to get out of that story because you're so in the emotion of it, and that's strong. But one of my eternal teachers here on this planet is what Deepak Chopra is saying. I will forever remind people of who they are and the potential that lies within you. I will forever tell you to wake up out of the story and see what's possible inside of you, because we all have it. Nobody is outside of the creative field of energy that is love and light and life, that are all the qualities of God. That's why we talk about those qualities on the candlelight service. We're here to remind you those qualities are alive and well. And so when you're confused and you're thinking your story and the world's coming to an end and all is just horrible, remember, no. That's a story your mind is telling you. It's just telling you that because it wants you to be held in place. But we don't want to hold ourselves in place where there's not a dynamic, inspiring flow of energy. So if you're not sure what stories to burn any story that's keeping you constricted, because those stories are fiction, and it's just a story that's keeping you in a place of feeling, believe it or not, safe and solid. Because these stories, I know it's weird, right? They keep us safe and solid because it's predictable. We don't like change. We don't like that infinite unknown. It bothers us because we don't know where we're going. I need to know, I need all of the details of where I'm going. Guess what? Burn that story. Burn that one right now. I used to always want to know everything, and I had such anxiety if I didn't know where I was going. And I started letting go of that, burning that story. And I felt solid in not knowing. And yeah, it's something you got to practice. Go to Reverend David's meditation on Sunday mornings. You'll feel what that unknown feels like, and you'll be good with it. You'll see that there's an energy to it that is comforting, an energy to it that is beyond what the brain needs to know. It's an energy, a vibration, a frequency that is really our natural state of being. It's our heart energy, and it is so strong and so powerful. And if we lean into that, the world is ours. The possibilities are endless, and we can create from a place of pure joy, pure love, and excitement, so that no matter what's going on in our lives, something better can happen. So what do you want your story to be in 2024? I'm going to suggest that you build your story on the attributes of spirit. I suggest that you feel what you want your story to be. Get out of the head. Cars are great, a new house, a new dog, whatever, wonderful things. But this year, let's feel it. What do you want your story to feel like? Do you want it to feel exciting? Do you want it to feel joyful? Do you want it to feel new? Go with the feeling and let the universe fill it in for you. That way you are maximizing your potential. So today is the burning bowl ceremony, which I absolutely love. It is a great opportunity to burn the stories. And so on that piece of paper that you have right there, I want you to go ahead and take that out. This is a very, very solemn ritual. It's a sacred ritual. I was telling Elizabeth and Reverend William that I was looking on it came up on my feed, my Facebook feed, one of those memories, Facebook people, you know how it says, 20 years ago this happened, or 5 years. And it was Dr. Joe during COVID. He did a burning bowl ceremony with the toilet bowl. And it was really funny. I was like, we couldn't come to the center. So he gave people another opportunity to have their own burning bowl ceremony in their toilet. And it was so cool because he's so creative. I swear, I love it. So he had you write on toilet paper, like what you wanted to release. And he was doing it like it was like a whole video. And so he said, write them all down, all the things you want to release. And you fold it up and you go to your toilet and you throw it in the toilet and you flush it down and you say, goodbye, amen. And so it is. Right? So today we're going to be a little more sophisticated and write on your piece of paper what you want to let go of. What story do you want to burn? Be brief, because you don't have a lot of space. Be brief. And what I want you to know is once that piece of paper, once that story burns, it's done. It is not coming back, so you better get ready to let go of it. And what Reverend Williams said in his talk, which I loved, the Ernest Holmes quote, if we want a new story, we gotta let go of the old one. And we can do it if we remember who we are as this divine, infinite potential that is not alone, that is perfectly rooted no matter what we let go of. We're still strong, we're still resolute in our beingness. And we have space now for a new story to come in. So I want you to go ahead, you got that written down, I want you to put it in your hand right now. And I want you to just feel what it feels like to let go and the freedom of letting it go. And just let yourself experience what that lightness of being is to you, that lightness. And yes, we are grateful. We're no longer needing the story or whatever it is you're releasing. We are grateful. We no longer need us. It taught us something. We're done now. We're ready to move on. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Spirit, for this opportunity to let go and bring more good into my life and the lives of everybody. So you can open your eyes. Just a few instructions. So after service, you're going to be putting your piece of paper in the fire. And you don't need to keep your hand there. Just toss it in. Toss it in. And it'll poof and it'll be all fun. You'll get all excited about what you see. So that's today. This is a new beginning for all of us. And, you know, I agree with Reverend William. Every day is an opportunity to start again. But this is a great opportunity for us to have a ritual around it. And so I'm grateful to be a part of what we do every year. And I am just knowing in my heart and soul that all of us collectively in this room, coming in online, everybody who is a supporter of this center, and all beings worldwide, I already know for us the most amazing 2024 because you know what? We're ready. We're ready. Our consciousness is there. We're letting go of the stories and we're bringing in the new story of love, connection, kindness, and compassion. Thank you for listening.